So again, over the years that I have been playing this game, and it's been several years of playing, I learned a process I call the lion process, and basically it allows you to create confidence. It gets you pumped, it gets you focused, it keeps you in the right, right on that path, what you want to do. And I believe that all ages can do this. You can start at 5 years old, you can start at 6 years old. If you're younger in age, I'll talk you through what you're supposed to do, but I think all ages could do this, and I wish I would have learned this years ago, because it would have helped me a lot. It would have helped me a ton. So first step would be write down our strengths and weaknesses, right? And if you're a younger age, you wouldn't want to, you probably don't know your strengths and weaknesses, but what you could do is write down your wants. What do you want? Do you want to be faster? Do you want to be quicker? And you probably have an idea of like what things you do well. So for example, for me, it would be like, I write down, I am a consistent hitter. And then as for weakness, I would write, so I'm gonna put an S right here. And then for the W, I would put, and what we want to do with that is we want to change the weaknesses into I will be, or you would turn this into a positive statement. So I would change that into a fast runner, be a fast runner, But basically, the whole point of writing this down, and you're going to make a big list, a big paragraph of positive things about yourself and things that you want. And the whole point of it is to look at yourself, and it's what you want to be. You're basically telling yourself your strengths and you're telling yourself your weaknesses, but you're changing the way you think about your weaknesses. And that's honestly, let me step in here. Honestly, that's what like separates the really good players from the other ones, is their mind. And being a professional baseball player and playing college and playing even at the highest level of competition, you have to have the strong mind. You have to reprogram your mind. You can't think like other players. So as much as you can reprogram that, it's like software. Like, your brain is like a software, and the kid's brain is like a software, and you want to reprogram that with thoughts that will really change his baseball career. Whatever you think badly, it limits you. So by doing this, by writing down your strengths, writing down your weaknesses, and changing what you think your weaknesses are, and changing it into positive statements, you start altering your baseball skills. And I've seen it firsthand. Your posture on the baseball field becomes better. You see these people walking around like a lion, roaring with confidence, because it's the way they program their mind. So that's going to be step one, is again, write down your strengths and weaknesses. We're going to go to step two. So once you wrote down step one, and like I said, you could do this at all ages, step two is picks. So what you're gonna do with picks is, for the sentence that you have, I am, so in your paragraph, you have stuff like, I am a talented baseball player. I am a consistent baseball player. We'll go with that one again. I am a consistent baseball player. So we have that in there. I am a consistent baseball player. And what we'll do with that is we'll add picks. So it'll be like, I am a consistent, and then there's a pick that I will put in there, and I'll put a picture of somebody that's consistent. So in the major leagues, who's really consistent? Jose Altuve. I'll put a picture of Jose Altuve right there. I'll put a picture of Mookie Betts, and I'll have this whole paragraph that I've written in the first step. The whole paragraph, I will put pictures in there. So now when I'm looking at this paper, there's a lot of pics of different players. It might say stuff like, I make diving plays. I'm just adding this because you could put, you could put what you want in there as well, as I said earlier. So I'll have a picture of somebody diving for a ball in that. You know, maybe it says, maybe you want to put I hit home runs, and then you would put a home run hitter right there. The reason why you do that is because, and I'll get to my next step, was step number 3. So that's step number 2, picks. Okay? Again, the whole point is we're trying to change our thoughts. We're changing our thoughts. Thoughts limit you on the baseball field. If you're on the baseball field, and let me say this, if you're on a baseball field and you have negative thoughts, which every player does, we're all out there having these negative thoughts, these doubts going through our head. That's what happens to every player, because that's what you do when you sign up to play baseball. You've picked a game where you have to be okay with being uncomfortable. Listen to that, sister. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So everybody's learned how to trigger that guy inside their head and calm themselves. So for me, this is what I do. Again, the first step is I write down my strengths and weaknesses. And strengths, things that I do well. And if you don't know your weaknesses, things that you want to do, want to have, you want to be faster. I write all those things down. And then the second step is I add pictures. Pictures are important, visual, seeing people doing it in my text. So when I'm looking over the text, I see the diving play, and I'll get more into it. So the third step is audio. And what I do with the audio is I take the text in the first step and I read it out and I record it. So I record my voice telling myself positive stuff, positive words, or my paragraph. So I record myself telling myself. So all the positive things that I did, I changed. Like, I am a talented baseball player. I am a consistent hitter. I make diving plays. I am a fast runner. I read the text and I record myself. And now this is very important because, and I'll say this right now, this is very, very important because the way to change negative thoughts is by saying it out loud. That's the only way to change the doubt and things. So you have to say it out loud. You can't just think it. So by saying the positive things, the audio, you're telling yourself, you're changing your emotion. It's like if you're having a bad day and you start saying, man, I feel great. You'll start feeling great because you're telling yourself you're feeling great. You're saying it out loud. You're turning things that were negative into positive things. So we do that on the baseball field. And this works wonders for baseball. This works wonders. So again, that's number 3 is, sorry guys, I'm trying to read read your comments. But number 3 is audio, okay? And let's get into number 4. Number 4 is consistency. And what I mean by that is you have to do it consistently. Like, it doesn't work. This doesn't work if you just do it once a week. It has to be something that has to be done like every day. You literally want to tell yourself you are a good baseball player. You're a great hitter every day. You want to tell yourself. I mean, if you want to even go extreme or the next level, I would tell your child to have some time alone and go into the restroom or a room that they can look into the mirror and they listen to this audio of themselves, tell themselves that they are good and that they're a great hitter and that they're positive, they're great teammates, all these positive things. Listen to themselves and see themselves, and they nod and say, yes, that is me. That's what I do. Keep telling themselves that. And the text, the reason why I had you write it down and put the pictures is that because I also look at it as I'm listening to it in audio. So I'm listening to myself, tell myself that I am good at what I do. And then I look at the paper and I say, you see where it says diving play or I'm a consistent hitter, and I change myself, I change the picture and put myself in that picture. So I'm literally hearing myself and seeing myself in this text, and it's making my thoughts say, oh man, I am. I'm good. I'm really good. And that's what triggers. And then when I'm on the baseball field, I'll say that to myself during the game. I start saying the positive things to myself, and it keeps you from being like this. It keeps you. It's like you're a lion. You're like tall, upright, strong, dominant, confident. That's what we want. We want to be a lion. So that's my 4 steps right there. 4 steps in conquering lack of confidence. Again, I do this daily, and a few of you already know, but I'm going to give away an audio version of this, because if this takes time. If you want to do it yourself, that is great. But if you don't, then I'll have an audio that I'm giving away to you guys, and your son can start playing in their ears, and they repeat after me, and it's just a lot of positive self-talk, and I'll just guide them through a whole process. That's my 4-step process right there, and I really hope you appreciate that, or you liked it, because I appreciate you guys tuning in. Tell me if you like it. If you like this, comment, tell me, yeah, I like this type of thing, because I'll start doing more of this, teaching and helping you guys. Like I said, I know one of the biggest things that I posted in my group was the biggest problem your son has, and a lot of people said confidence, and that's one thing that we all struggle with. Think about that game, 40,000 fans, you're up to bat, your emotions are going, and things start to like break apart. Your swings start to be a little lagged and things, but you have to conquer that guy, have to conquer your emotions. That's what baseball is. Baseball is the person that's doing it, the player, and conquering his emotions and controlling his emotions. Because I always laugh when people are like, oh, the mechanics, but you don't know how that guy's feeling during that game. You're checking his mechanics and saying, oh, his mechanics could be better, but things are like pressure situation. How do people react in those situations? This things, you're uncomfortable. Oh man, something moves too quick. Next thing you know, you're gonna get that hit. Like only the players know how they feel up there. Maybe their body is hurting, they're in pain. No one knows, but everyone looks at mechanics and say, oh, you have to do mechanics. But this is the key. This is what you need to be working on. Your kids need their minds program the right things. Another thing I always hear is parents say, oh, my kid works out during practice and he does well, and then he goes into the game and he's not consistent. And you know what my answer to that is that practice, there's no failure, but then game is a performance, so it's trying to put numbers up, and that's what I think is wrong. Like, you got to focus on quality of bats, consistency, hard work. It's a process. This whole game is a process. Consistency, process. Every day I show up to the yard and I do the same thing over and over. I may tweak a little thing, but everybody is doing the same thing over, because it's a process. It's a long year. And your kids, it's long. They're going to learn. They're going to get it. But again, I think this is the key, the strong mind. That's what separates other players. Because at our level, as you keep going up higher, it's who's stronger here, who has it here. It's not about your talent. Because guys are going to start working harder and getting better and better, but these guys that don't let the game beat them, those are the ones that are going to succeed in this game.